All right, welcome back. In today's community conversation, we have El Paso spokesperson, Sergeant Robert Gomez, here with us this morning to talk about a few topics, one of those being the need for officers.
Yes, let's get right to it. So, we just saw the 133rd Academy class graduate from the El Paso Police Academy. And, what we're seeing, obviously 10, 20 years ago, the classes were much larger. So you were having 70, 80 recruits in one class alone. Only 16 graduated from this recent class. Can you talk a little bit about, I guess, how desperate you guys are for officers at this time and how this is affecting response times and I guess everything altogether?
Well, the number of officers does affect response times, but not just response times. It affects every area of the department: investigations, operations, everything. We're at a critical level right now. We haven't reduced services, but we don't want to. And if we don't start replenishing our ranks, it could get critical, and we might have to resort to different tactics in order to provide service to the community, which we don't want to change. We want to still provide the high level of service that we do right now, but we need officers. Right now we have approximately 200 that can retire, and if we don't, we're on track to lose around 80 retirements or resignations for the year, and we only graduated 16. So as you can see, we really need officers to replenish our ranks and to continue doing the service that we do.
Yeah, definitely. And the city is growing, so we need more police officers, to patrol our growing city. This week, Sergeant Gomez, the department released the body camera footage of the deadly officer-involved shooting from the Donovan incident from earlier this month. Can you talk about that particular officer's response and what led to the department releasing this footage to the public?
Okay, I can talk about what led to releasing it, and what it is that it's a balance between investigations and the community understanding what happens when these incidents occur. We wanted to give the community context of these serious incidents, and that with body cameras now, we're able to do that and maintain that fine line between maintaining investigations and informing the community. So that sparked, or that is our intent by releasing the video, is to give the community context on what actually happened that day. Of course, the investigation still continues and will still continue as it always did, but we wanted to do it quicker and more accurately because of body cam footage.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment, but keep in mind that El Paso Police is going to be joining us in our studios every Wednesday to talk more about topics like these. And earlier in the week, we actually went on Facebook and asked our viewers for any questions that they had for the department.
Yeah, so after the break, Sergeant Gomez will answer some of those questions. So keep it right here. We'll be right back after the break.
Hey everybody, welcome back. In today's community conversation, we have El Paso Police spokesperson Sergeant Robert Gomez here in studio with us this morning.
Yeah, so earlier in the week, we did ask viewers to submit questions on Facebook that they have for the department, and Sergeant Gomez is here to answer some of them.
Yes, let's get right to it. The first question is from our viewer, Stephanie Rods. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now, she asked when the city is going to increase the pay and benefit packages to attract more officers to help combat the shortage. What can you tell us?
Well, what I can say about that is that the city has worked really well with the association. In fact, this September we received a contract, probably the best contract I've seen in 27 years. So the city is working with the department in order to raise our pay and benefits to attract more people. The thing is, with this situation, we're not going to be able to buy our way out of it. The problem is that people no longer want to be police officers, and I don't think the pay is going to change that unless we change a lot of variables that will make them join.
Yeah, one of the factors is pay, right? So the next question leads us to something familiar to that. Katie Garvey Strong is asking about the academy. So she says, why is EPPD's academy one of the longest in America? 6 months is the standard, and she's also saying that that could be a reason why that's deterring people from applying.
I'm not sure if that's a reason for deterring people, but what I can say is that we do scenario-based training, which is very staff-intensive and very time-consuming. But what that does, it gives the officer the opportunity to be very prepared for what they're going to see in real life, right. And that takes time. There is a proposal right now to reduce the academy to 8.5 months. The chief is reviewing it. If he feels that we can keep the level of standard and reduce it, he possibly will, but that's just in the works right now. But it's the scenario-based training that makes our academy so long And that is something that is being adopted throughout Texas.
Right, and again, we've been documenting the whole academy with Selena's becoming the best. So if you're interested in seeing exactly what goes into that training for those 11 months, you can check that out on KFOX TV.com.
Yes, very true. Moving on to our next question, though, which kind of circles back to that body camera footage that we were just talking about before the break. So our next viewer, Shelton Dodson, he went ahead and asked, why does EPPD only release lapel camera video when it's convenient for them? He said the El Paso Police Department said the release of the video showing the recent officer-involved shooting was in line with its commitment to be transparent. Shelton says that true transparency would mean releasing any and all video at the public's request. What is your response to that?
Like I said earlier, the reason for releasing this video is to give the community context on what happened that night. The investigations still have to continue, and it's a fine line between being transparent and interrupting an investigation. And we want to be right on the edge so that the community is well informed, but the investigations are intact and their integrity is intact throughout the process. That's pretty much the reasoning behind it. And as far as releasing information, we do follow all laws for information and that regard on public releases. We are following those guidelines as of right now.
Do you think the department will ever get to a point where you're able to file an open records request for lapel camera footage from an officer that they were wearing during an incident, but also be able to redact the information, I guess the video footage from that specific video, to make sure that it is available to the community when that request is put in at all times?
I know that they work really hard to get that information out when the requests come in. They do have a little bit of time. As you can imagine, with all the body cam footage that we have a lot of requests. The unit that reviews it, it has to go through several reviews, including the city attorney's office, before it's released. So the whole process of body cam footage is a lot more complex than just releasing raw footage. But we are doing the best we can to make that as fast as possible. And of course, you are able to make an open records request for any information that the department has.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. This one is from viewer Joe Chavez. He had a question about traffic patrol. So he says that there are a lot of motorcycle officers along I-10 in the morning pulling people over who may be going to work. And his question is, why isn't there as many officers out in the evenings patrolling where there seems to be people racing or driving the wrong way all the time, according to him?
Well, it is true. We do have motor officers in the morning with the morning commute, but what we also do have is we have adjusted our high performance vehicles to work evenings and during the week. Those vehicles are partially marked. I'm sure you've seen them. They're usually Mustangs that are patrolling. They're very difficult to find. You're probably only going to see them if they are on a traffic stop, but we do have those types of vehicles and those operations working in the evening. But it's like everything. Personnel dictates what we can do, and we can only use the resources that we have.
Sergeant Gomez, thank you so much. And we will go ahead on our end and post another social media prompt on Facebook this week for you to submit your questions for us to ask directly to El Paso Police here on the KFOX14 Morning News. So be sure to be on the lookout for that on Facebook.
Sergeant Gomez, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we will see you next week, and we'll be right back after the break.